we are here today. We're going to be talking about bringing your members closer together with non-traditional technologies. My name is Krista Mallard, and I am a mobile solutions consultant with Engaged by Cell. And we are joined here today by my wonderful colleague, Emily White. Emily is our project manager, and she has been working with our company for a few years. I joined the Engaged by Cell team about a year ago, but I also have a lot of experience with involvement in my local Chamber of Commerce. So I'll speak to that as we move on. But Emily, why don't you kind of start us off by giving a little bit of background information about our company?
Yeah, of course. So Engaged by Cell was founded 14 years ago. Our founder, Dave Ashheim, created this company to help nonprofit organizations, cultural institutions, along with, just businesses in general, connect with their visitors and constituents with mobile engagement platforms. So we have a few different divisions which focus on different solutions. We have Guide by Cell, which is more focused for our museum and cultural institutions. We have Train by Cell, which we offer mobile training, HR, and onboarding solutions. We have Give by Cell, which is our mobile fundraising platforms, and we have Engage by Cell, which focuses on text messaging and membership platforms.
So yeah, and with under the Engage by Cell umbrella, we do work with a lot of chambers across the nation. Emily mentioned the fundraising piece. I know that that's something that chambers do. And we do help some with like mobile fundraising technology, but a lot of the focus that we help chambers with is on that engagement and communication piece. So that's a little bit about our background and our company. And just to give you a little bit of information about our connection with chambers. As I mentioned, I joined my Chamber of Commerce. I'm in the state of Georgia. I'm near the Savannah area. And it joined my Chamber of Commerce about 8 years ago through like the leadership program that they were hosting. So through that, I got involved in a lot of committees. I served on a few committees. From there, I went on to serve on the leadership board for 2 years. And I also chaired what we called our ambassador committee. You may have like a membership committee or something similar, but through that, I kind of experienced a lot of the membership challenges and just kind of look at the chamber through like that membership lens, just because of my experience personally with chambers. And so through that, I kind of have an understanding and knowledge of the chambers, or at least like our smaller chambers. We had around, 1,000 members, kind of in the pre-COVID world. So I know that, all of you come from, big cities, small cities, it all kinds of varies. But I think that, a lot of members we know just through the chambers that we work with join for a variety of different reasons. So they may join your chamber for networking, or for advocacy, because they know that you advocate for businesses in the community. They may want to your members may join because they want to get involved in committees, or they have special interests. And then they also, a lot of them will just join because it's kind of the right thing to do. They want to support the chamber because the chamber supports the business community. So prior to COVID, our chambers that we work with, they were facing a lot of communication challenges and kind of needed that help keeping members engaged and informed. And we're going to push out polls in just a little bit, but before we do that, just kind of want to talk about communication for a moment and kind of how mobile plays a role. A lot of us, we all use communicate or email communication for, business. I would think, most of our chambers do that as well. Now, email open rates with email, it's like traditionally it's 20 to 30%. So other issues with email are they go to spam, maybe your member contacts, have changed and you don't have current email addresses. And then also, when it comes to communicating information, I know a lot of members will send out business bulletins or other kind of like newsletters. That information may only be going to the person that pays the bill. So there may be other stakeholders, so to say, in your members' businesses that aren't receiving that communication. So now that we're kind of living in a COVID world, there's, a whole other myriad of issues. Emily, I know you and I, we talk to, chambers and associations across the nation all the time, and it just seems like we're hearing a lot of the same things. And then our conversation with Tammy yesterday, it was kind of the same challenges. So, your members, I know some of you are working remotely. That's the same goes for your members. Like they may or may not be open. And Emily, feel free to chime in. They may or may not be open. I think Tammy told us yesterday that I think some of the members down near Miami, maybe you all were still in phase 1, but then towards, the north of the state, you all are in phase 2 and maybe have a little bit more freedom, to do in-person things. And then we also have like program challenges. So I know a lot of people are kind of grappling with, if you have the ability to do in-person events or in-person meetings, is it even smart to do it? So I know we're kind of hearing that with, kind of across the board, like even with schools, it's like people want, in-person interaction and communication, but then, they're going to have criticism either way. So whether you're doing virtual events or, in-person events, there's still a lot of challenges at play. And then also the communication piece. I think Emily and I have talked to, a lot of businesses across the country, and it seems like everybody right now is even more inundated with emails than they were before. And I think, a lot of that is because, if Emily and I, if we worked in the office together previously, now we're having to email each other for communication. So like our inboxes are all full and it's really easy to overlook, that those communication from chamber, your chamber or from, other important emails. And so also I think there's a lot to be said about through all of this, just the challenge of making sure that you're continuing to provide value to your members. I was telling Emily that I had a really interesting call before this webinar with an association in Tennessee. It wasn't a chamber, but it was still a membership-based association. And she was telling me, she was like, now is the time to make sure that our members are communicating value, that they are, being over communicated with. They know that we're advocating for them. And there's no question of that value of membership, because when it comes time to renew, you want to make sure that they're renewing their chamber membership, because a lot of businesses are experiencing loss, and so you don't want that value of membership to be called into question. And communication is such an important part of that. So I mean, that's kind of, wouldn't you say, Emily, kind of like a summary of what we're hearing?
Yes, and also just as members of a chamber through this time, keeping your members engaged and informed, and just communicating with them right now is a big deal. So just you know, trying to keep up with the changes due to COVID, you know, like Krista said, with emails being, you know, everyone's communicating through emails. So finding a way to stand out is key.
Right. Absolutely. And I think we're getting a lot of activity in the chat window. But why don't we, do you want to go ahead and maybe push out some polls? That way we can hear from everybody else, maybe where they're at with their communication and events.
Molly, if you could go ahead and push the first poll, which is, are you hosting in-person events right now?
So go ahead and let us know, are you part of the state that is hosting in-person events? And if so, maybe you are, just with, you know, a lot of regulations in place. So it will reveal the, we'll give you a minute, then we'll go ahead and see what everybody has to say.
Okay, Molly, let's go ahead and show the results. Okay, so 60% is not hosting in-person events right now.
Yeah, and then it looks like, you know, you've got a few, you've got 30% that are. I'd be interested to know what kind of regulations are in place. But we have a few other questions, don't we?
Yes, so Molly, go ahead and push the second poll, please. What are the biggest challenges with COVID-19?
Let's see, so no in-person events, lack of networking opportunities, which kind of goes hand in hand with that in-person events. The sharing of content and information, kind of what we talked about earlier, you know, with the communication piece. And then also budget cuts, whether it's for, you know, budget cuts within the chamber or maybe budget cuts from your members, you know, in their budgets.
Okay, let's go ahead and show the results. So 76%, let's see, the biggest challenge is budget cuts.
There's no surprise there.
Yeah, no in-person events and lack of networking opportunities was a tie at 57%. Okay, and we have one more poll. Molly, if you could go ahead and push that out. How are you communicating with your members right now?
So, and I think you can check all that apply. So email, phone, or direct contact, text messaging, whether it's one-off text messages or it's, you know, a text messaging platform that you use. I know a lot of chambers will use membership portals, social media, and then maybe even direct mail pieces.
Okay, Molly, if you could go ahead and show us the results. Social media and email. Social media is so great. I love social media. Absolutely. And email is great as well. Okay, so Krista, let's just go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. We can go ahead and start. And I'll say, like, I think that the results from the polls, I mean, it's no surprise there, and it kind of mirrors what we're hearing from everybody, is that, like, I think the lack of the in-person events is really causing, like, a lot of stress on the community, you know, you know, and just that lack of unity and what being a member of the chamber is all about. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be focusing on ways that while you, you know, your communication sounds like it's not as big of a deal, but you can use different types of non-traditional technology to make sure that you are engaging your members and letting them know that you are there, you are working for them, you are advocating for them, and you know, if you can't host in-person events, let them know about virtual opportunities. So one way to do that, and what a lot of chambers that we work with are doing, is utilizing text messaging. So the advantages to text messaging whenever we looked at email are the open and read rates. So, you know, traditionally we looked at emails having like an open and read rate of 20 to 30%. And while email, you know, that's never going to go away, it's really great to have text messaging to send more like targeted information, maybe updates about certain interests that they have, whether they, you know, are interested in healthcare updates, or maybe, you know, government or small business. So I know that there's a lot of like, you know, different sectors of the economy that the chamber serves, and a text messaging platform is a really great way to kind of have more targeted and a more granular approach to that communication. So, I mean, the advantages, like I said, of text messaging is that you have the ability to push any content. So links to your newsletters, anything that maybe lives online. If you have registration for any virtual events, you can send, you know, links to that. If maybe somebody is up for renewal that month, you can send a text reminder. Of course, you know, send your traditional email contact, but just like that added layer of reminders through a text messaging platform. And then we also have, you know, chambers who will use like a text chat platform that allows like members to text in with any sort of questions or concerns, and then the chamber staff members are able to respond back through like a back-end platform, and it just allows for that instant communication. So I know that we all like instant gratification, and you know, that's one way to, you know, stay connected on an instant basis. And then you can also use it to kind of foster relationships, like I said, more for that like targeted communication. So if you have all of your board members, you know, keep them updated, and, you know, with one contact list, and anybody maybe who's on, you know, your membership committee, or, you know, anybody who's interested in any sort of advocacy, you know, have all of those people, and they can opt in to the topics that they want communication on. And then that way you're not, you know, worrying about spamming. I mean, that's, Emily, do you want to touch on that at all?
So text messaging is an amazing way to really target your audience. So just like Krista was stating, you know, your members can opt in to specific lists, you know, if they're interested in virtual or in-person events, or, you know, membership dues are coming up. I feel like a lot of our clients that we are onboarding right now have been on the fence with mobile engagement solutions like text messaging, and COVID really pushed them to, you know, go ahead and start utilizing this platform. And the response and the engagement that they have gotten out of this has been absolutely amazing. And I have had clients come back to me and say, I mean, I wish we would have done this sooner. This is something that we are going to, you know, keep up even after the pandemic. So.
Absolutely. And then the next piece of kind of non-traditional technology that you probably haven't heard about is a device that we call Personal Space Guardian. And Emily really specializes in this type of technology. So I'd like to hear just a little bit from you, Emily, about, what this technology is, how it can help chambers, but then also how it can help their members in their members' businesses.
Yeah, of course. So, Engage by Cell partnered with an industrial engineering manufacturer outside of Italy that has created this technology. They have been creating this for about 10 years. It's been in the industrial market to protect employees from dangerous equipment. And with COVID, they programmed the devices. You can see it in the photo on the slide. It's about the size of an Apple AirPod case to be programmed to peer-to-peer. So basically, it is a great social distancing reminder. You can program, they come programmed at 6 feet for 6 seconds. So let's say you're passing by someone and you end up stopping and you're closer than 6 feet. For 6 seconds, it will vibrate and show a red light. So it is extremely helpful because I know whenever I'm out and about, trying to eyeball the 6 feet is extremely hard. So, yeah, it's just a layer of security that, and also, for liability reasons, this is a great tool to have in the toolkit. So, yes.
It's a great device, and it's something that may or may not be a fit for everyone, but it is very helpful to know. And again, even if it's not necessarily a fit for like a chamber specific event, to be able to pass that knowledge and awareness on to your members because it may be a fit for them in their workplace or the clients that they serve. So let's move on to the next slide. So the next piece of technology that we want to highlight are digital membership cards, and I love this technology. It's something that's been utilized a little bit in the chamber realm, but I've seen more and more with associations picking up on more here lately. So the concept of a digital membership card is that it could be an identifying card that you can send to a member either through email or through a text message. And then from there, the member receives not only an image of the card like you see here on the screen, but they also get a link to download it to their Apple or Google Wallet. These membership cards are super helpful for member-only type events. Now, of course, it sounds like a lot of you are not necessarily hosting in-person events right now, but just a great piece of technology to keep in mind for the future. That way you can distinguish if somebody's coming to like a business after hours meeting, who is a member, and if you charge for guests to attend your events, it's just a really easy, streamlined way of doing that. And then there's, it's much cheaper to do digital versus printing, and of course, eliminating your carbon footprint. But the, advantage going forward, once you start hosting in-person events, is that it's touchless, so it just eliminates the exchanging of business cards or information, and it really streamlines the check-in process. So it can be, these cards are really great. They can be completely personalized. They can include links or information on the back. So it's definitely, like I said, something that not a lot of chambers are utilizing, but I think now, we're kind of seeing the value of. So
Right.
Yeah, so and the next type of technology that Emily and I want to highlight is a message board. And you can think of this message board as kind of like a members only forum or social media type forum. So the concept is that it creates like a community or a safe place for you and your members to communicate and share content, whether it's on COVID related issues or just membership issues in general. We've seen like a lot of people who, will host on certain topics, and it's kind of like a Reddit feed. And then Emily, you can send it through a text message link, right? You can do that as well, can't you?
Yes, you can push out the message board via text message to a specific list of, members or contacts, so that it is, again, just a very targeted audience.
Yeah. So, and then coupling with that text messaging piece, I think Alfred mentioned to the panelists earlier that the big pro for text messaging is the engagement, not necessarily like the one-way communication. So, I mean, this is something that could really be a powerful engagement tool, not only with the text messaging, but then bringing your members together. So, let's see. And then the next type of technology is a leaderboard. Now, I have talked to some chambers. I know our chamber kind of played around with this topic. It may be something you're currently doing or maybe have thought of, but almost like a point system to keep members engaged. So I'm interested to hear if any of you all are utilizing a point system. Let us know in the chat window, or if it's something that you've thought about, let us know. But essentially, members that participate in whether it's virtual events or in-person events, or check certain boxes, they're assigned member points or like engagement points. And Emily, maybe you can talk about Leaderboard a little bit and how it works and tracks everything. But I mean, essentially the concept is to kind of create like friendly competition and track everybody's like points in real time to kind of reward those members who are most engaged.
Yes, so the leaderboard tracks in real time, and we offer detailed reporting and analytics as well. So you could actually, keep members engaged with trivia about, businesses in the area, or really anything that you'd like. So you can house these forms, trivia, or quizzes on the leaderboard as well. So it's a great engagement piece and, creates friendly competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And one question that I saw pop up in the chat window that I want to address.
Krista, your audio is going in and out a little bit, so.
Sorry, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was having audio issues earlier, so just yell at me if I need to speak up. But somebody, I think Debbie asked a question, what's the advantage of message board over a Facebook closed group? And the answer to that is not everybody is on Facebook. So message board is something that they can access with the tap of a link. And they don't have to have like a Facebook membership or like a Facebook account. And then, the thing with Facebook is if you're not logged in and you're not actively checking those alerts, you're going to miss out on those discussions. Whereas, with text messaging, all of these mobile technologies, you don't have to have a link. You don't have to have an app or download anything to be able to access the content or the information. So that's kind of the advantage there.
Yeah, that is a huge plus.
Yeah, but that's a good question, Debbie. So thanks for bringing up that point. And the same goes for Leaderboard as well. None of these technologies that we're talking about, have to be downloaded, and they don't have to have an app or any sort of like platform associated with them. So the next focus would be kind of utilizing like our a digital form or a text message to encourage renewals and make that process more streamlined and easy. So there's two ways that you can do this. You can push out a text message with maybe a reminder that their membership is up for renewal, and then link if you have like an online or like a page that you host on your website. You could link it to an external site. Or Emily, do you want to kind of go over like the mobile form that can be hosted through Engage by Cell?
Yeah, so we have a mobile form platform, which is integrated with your merchant processor. And basically, instead of linking to your membership renewal form, it would just link to ours. And we can also push membership renewal reminders as well.
Yeah, and then also those email receipts are a huge plus as well. So I think that platform will push out an email receipt. So that's, one less thing that you have to do. So yeah, two different ways. I know that the membership renewals can be a pain to kind of track down and collect. So, of course, into your normal email reminder, but then this added layer of, communication where someone can just tap a link and just boom, 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 input all of their renewal information. It just streamlines the process. And then, something that they can access instantly. So let's move on. So fundraising is another way that we help chambers. And there's two different main platforms that chambers are utilizing. One is kind of similar to the collection form that Emily just mentioned. It's this nice little custom mobile page that lives on your phone, and it's delivered through a text message. If you were hosting some sort of gala down the road, or just simply doing like fundraising on behalf of the chamber, someone could opt in through a unique keyword and land right here on this page. So they can make a donation of their choice, and then it can be linked right into your merchant processing account. And so it streamlines everything, and you would process your donation the way you normally do. And then the page also has a drop-down menu, so someone could earmark a fund, whether they were donating to sponsor your golf tournament, or for your fall gala, or if you're doing any sort of like virtual fundraising event. That's really helpful. And then Emily, why don't you talk about the platform that allows individuals to make a gift that's charged on your cell phone bill?
Yeah, so we partnered with the Mobile Giving Foundation, where instead of the donation go directly to the mobile donate page, the donation would be charged to their phone bill. So it's really easy. All that they would have to do is text in that keyword, and that's it.
Yeah, and the advantage to that platform wouldn't necessarily be for event sponsorship. It may be just an individual who, wants to help out and donate $5 a month to the local chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
And save some time by not, filling out the credit card and information. That does take some time.
Absolutely. And I accidentally bumped us up 2 slides. So let's see if I can get to the next one. Okay. So the last piece of technology that we want to highlight is mobile apps. And this is, again, a specialty of Emily's. So she can talk a little bit about, mobile apps versus native apps. But essentially, the mobile app It's great. There's no IT or downloading required. This is something that you can customize, whether it's for a virtual event or maybe a conference that you're hosting, or really maybe if you wanted to highlight the benefits of membership. I mean, this mobile app could include any sort of content that you wish to feature about your chamber. So, but I mean, a lot of times people will use it for virtual events, maybe, you know, upload agendas or forms, any sort of like FAQs. And then you can incorporate like a chat for attendees, so you can field questions. And again, it doesn't have to be event specific. It can be a mobile app just for your chamber that can be accessed and sent through a text message instead of downloading it through the App Store. So Emily, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, you can even add an interactive map with all of the businesses, you know, in your area that are a part of the chamber, and add their callable phone number and include more information about each business. So everything is drag and drop. It's really easy to build. I build all of our demo accounts, and it takes me about a day or two, and it's just extremely easy. Anyone could do it.
Yeah, I think typically I've heard like if you can manage a social media account, you can, you know, pretty much master a mobile app platform, which, you know, the concept can be pretty intimidating for somebody who's not an IT whiz, but this makes it super, you know, super easy and user friendly. So yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up the technologies that we wanted to cover, but I mean, we still have some time to go over some questions. I saw some stuff come through in the chat window throughout the discussion, but it was a little hard for me to present and monitor. So if you have any questions, you know, go ahead and chat us now. And Molly, if you saw anything, Molly's our marketing woman, the Wizard of Oz, powering this webinar behind the scenes. So if you saw anything, let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And then if you all, you know, are interested in more information, I would encourage you to drop your information in the chat window. I think Tammy is going to be emailing out this session, the recording, so that you all can either rewatch it or for anybody who missed it. And our contact information is right here if you'd like to learn more about mobile technology or our platforms, or want to set up a time to chat, you know, about those specifics. You can reach out to Emily or myself. So, and let's see, I see that Debbie is asking about the leaderboard. Can you run multiple events and groups at the same time? Emily, do you want to speak to that?
Yes. So technically you could add the leaderboard feature as many times as you'd like. So you could even create custom leaderboards for, you know, each event or group. So yes.
Yeah. Okay, and let's see, Alfred, he is asking, is there an integration into some of these mobile platforms directly into CRMs? We, at the heart of this all, are a mobile technology company. We have engineers on our team that are great, who can perform integrations as long as there are open APIs. So I would say let's chat offline. But the answer, you know, in short is yes, it can be done. We just would have to do some, you know, we'd have to take a look offline because it would depend on the CRM that you are using. Let's see, we missed. Emily, did you see anything else?
Andrew, we will be contacting you shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, I see, someone else asked about APIs. Yeah, so I would say I think that's most used Chamber Master or Atlas, and I am familiar with Chamber Master. So, but I will say these platforms, I mean, without an integration, I'd say like 90% of our clients do everything manually. It's all very easy. There's reports and contact information can all be uploaded and exported through a CSV or an Excel file. But I would say, unless there's any other questions, I think that pretty much sums up the presentation for today. So we're looking forward to talking with some of you after this webinar, and hope to be in contact with you soon. And we just want to thank Tammy again for the opportunity to present and chat with you all, and hope you learned a thing or two about maybe some ways that you can use technology, now during COVID, but then also, going forward. So thank you all for your time today, and I think that concludes our presentation.